I am 100% with you. I think it's a better lead.
Yeah,
It's a better lead than anything else. Just do your work and then ask for a referral.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
like you mentioned, that's how your business grew uh, 16 years ago. What's the most successful placement you had since you've been doing this? Hello, everyone. I am pretty excited about today. Today we have Yonas Markos with Go Star Financial, based in Maryland. And before we get started here, I'd like to ask our guests a few questions in order for me to give some background. Numbers of ATMs deployed, several hundred ATMs across multiple states. Cash dispensed and commissions paid year to date. The number, he did not know the number off top of his head, but he might give us that information. Year in the industry, over 18 years. And he looks pretty young too. Average passive income per location. Big question mark. What is passive here about the business, right? uh, Customer retention satisfaction. How old is your oldest contract that you still have? It's about 15 years. Jonas, tell us something about yourself and then we can get started with some questions.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you for having me, Franco. It's great to be on here. So, like you mentioned, we've been in business for we just celebrated our 18th year, so we're super happy about that. Just celebrated that
Congrats.
October of this year, so it's fun. Just to go back to your question real quick about the average amount dispensed. So we operate in about 30 states today. So the average dispense about on average per month looks to be around between 8 to 10 million, let's just say, average dispense amount of cash. And our I think there's a question in there for payouts as well for average commission payouts per month lands anywhere between 70,000 to 90,000, depending on usage and patterns for our merchants location. So that's what we're doing today. But just to give you a quick background on me, so I'm born and raised in Ethiopia, came here for college, and like most immigrants, stayed, and graduated here with college and established a business. Now I have a family, still visit my family back home. So that's what I'm doing.
So, how did you get started?
Oh man, by accident.
By accident. How is that?
So I was actually in college and getting ready to graduate from college, and I was working a job in the government, was studying to go to law school, so I was actually working at a law office in the city of Baltimore. And I went to my accountant's office at the time, to get taxes done and everything. And I told her at the time, hey, I'm looking to, I need additional income, right? My government job is not cutting it. I had some money saved up, and I told her I've been looking online, like work from home jobs or something like that. And the first thing that popped up was, put your ATM in a store and generate money, And I had worked in a bank part time before when I was also in college, I think sophomore year or something like that. And I was like, how can we do that? Like I just remember filling the ATM as a teller. So I was like, it's a big operation. Like how do I even participate in that? So needless to say, she was like, well, my tanning salon actually needs an ATM because
Oh, wow.
their merchant service fees are high. And she's like, she wants to go cashless, and this was 18 years ago. She wants to have no credit cards. I'm sorry, not cashless, but no cards at her store. She wants to go cash only. Um, and and I was like, great. So introduce me to her. So that was my first entry. It was literally just going to talk to my accountant to do taxes and to kind of brainstorm this idea that I had, and I potentially had a client. And of course, that client is, tanning salons. I don't think are a thing now, but at least not in our area. That business is long gone. But that was my first start.
So how long did it take you from number one to number two then? Because that was very easy to
Yeah,
enter
no,
into it.
absolutely. Yeah, that was very easy. Yes, it was a challenge. It was very easy to get the account, but it was a challenge to get it set up because I had no idea of what it took to to get an ATM. I didn't, I had to get it shipped to the store and everything that comes with setting up your
Yes.
first ATM. The second ATM was actually it was, I shouldn't say it was hard to get, but it was, what I started to do is I started canvassing the area around that tanning salon, basically. Started, hitting at bars, nail salons, or something around that area. So my second machine was actually at a bar, at a local bar that had an ATM that was merchant owned, but was down all the time.
There you go.
And I don't,
Opportunity.
yeah, it was a definitely opportunity. I don't even remember the make and model. It was just, I remember, when I started the Hyosung 1500s, the gold machine, the gold
The
standard.
heavy ones.
Yeah,
The heavy
the
ones.
heavy
The
ones.
heavy ones.
I think they used to be Minibank 1500, then they went to Hyosung. So however you know them, those terminals, those were the ones that we were using because those were the new ones at the time. This owner had something completely different than that. It was, I think it was a Tidal or something along.
The white box.
Yeah, the white box, super white. Yeah, very big, clunky.
Yeah.
So it was down, and he was like, "Oh, I'm tired of servicing that machine. It doesn't work half the time, or something." So that was my second account in, and that was, so that was maybe, I want to say it was 6 months in, or
Oh
yeah,
wow!
7 months.
It took that long to get that second one.
Yeah, no, and not because I was aggressively looking. Honestly, I would just canvas whenever I went to service that tanning salon in that area.
Good.
Because remember, I still had a full-time job. This was something new to me. I had to let the money, run out a couple of times to understand, like, hey, this is how money moves.
Yeah.
This is how the income looks like. So anyway, so it took me a while, because I didn't set it, I didn't get into it, how a lot of people today get in, like, hey, I want to make money, and they're hustling right away, kind of deal.
I did not have these questions on the ones that I sent you, but how long did it take you from the hustle to this is it?
Oh, oh man, to like, leaving the job, basically.
Yes.
So I want to say at least 2 years, 2.5 years.
That's excellent. That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah, because for for me, it was like certain scenarios played out right at that time. At right when I started, it was when the housing crisis was taking place, like in 2007, 2008 time period. And around that time, I think price of oil and things like that was also very variable. And there was a lot of merchant-owned ATMs in my market, a lot. I'm not going to
Yeah.
mention the company names that were here servicing those, but a lot of merchant-owned ATMs were down because the merchants just didn't have the ability to service them for one reason or the next. So I started noticing these gas station ATMs
Wow.
are down, and most of them were gas stations. And I started,
Great opportunity.
yeah, great. It was a fantastic opportunity. That's what led me to my next thing, is because I went to one gas station and the guy was like, "Hey, Yonas, if you give me a good deal, I'm gonna tell my cousin, my uncle, blah blah, everybody, to use you." So I gave him a ridiculous deal that I can't do today. If he came to me today,
But it got you in the door. It got you in the
it
door,
got
and
me. It
you
got
were
me in the
able to
door.
expand.
It got me in the door, and that was it. And that merchant is huge now. I mean, I think he had like 3 stations back then, but now he has like, I don't know, 30 something stations. And that owner like kind of led me to go to the next one. He forwarded me to many owners that were in his circle that allowed me to go to the next one. And basically, I got to the point where the ATM operation was affecting my job, basically, my
Yeah.
regular job.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in 2.5 years, I left my post at the with the city, and they actually gave me a leave of absence because the supervisor I had was great, and she was like, "Don't quit your job, see if it works
They're
for
still
you."
waiting for you, buddy.
Yeah,
They're still waiting for you.
yeah,
That's good. Congrats. That's excellent.
yeah.
Since you got started and now, have you seen the industry evolve?
Oh yeah, the industry has definitely evolved. It's changed a lot. I get, it's definitely not the same as when I got in. The opportunities are different. The operations is different. Payouts are different. Insurance is different. The whole nine.
The Since you do multiple states, you mentioned over 20 states. How do you manage those operations? And are you focusing in a industry since you mentioned gas stations, or I'm sure you're across the board?
Yeah. So right today we're mostly in gas stations, convenience stores, and financial institution outsourcing. That's really where we live. We don't really veer too much out of that. And most of our ATMs are owned and operated by us. We have the percentage of merchant owned for us is very little. So yeah, so it's very
So
in-house.
you have financial institutions?
Yes, that we work with.
Excellent.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, absolutely, yes, definitely.
Good. Which markets did you do financial institutions?
Of outsourcing in our immediate market. So where we're where
That's
we're
pretty
where we're
good.
bigger is in our immediate market in the DC, Maryland, Virginia market. But we do have some outside, out of state for us. Yeah,
Good. Maybe later we do another podcast that we will focus on that because that's a different niche and that's very specialized and it's pretty good for the operators that are there that you're not expected to make a lot of monies, but you make some and
yeah. No,
it's very
absolutely.
good
It's
money.
a completely different operating model than your standard retail account.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, 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 yes. But we'll save that one for later.
yeah. So
What do you look for? What do you look for when choosing a location for ATM placements?
your standard, yeah, your consistent foot traffic, limited cash access nearby, to the store or to the business. A merchant that wants, obviously, the business owner needs to want to have or give access to cash to their consumers, right? So those are definitely the biggest things. The biggest factors, honestly, foot traffic and the need for cash at the store. You don't want to put an ATM machine where there's no need for cash, even if it
Yeah.
has foot traffic, right? So
How do you approach partnerships with business owners?
for us, it's been from the hustle days. The hustle days are paying off now, is what I would say. But is referrals. If you do right by the merchants, by all your merchants, all your business partners, they're essentially your business partners, right? So if you do right by each business partner, your business and your business models are going to speak for itself. So it's going to be. I think that's the best way, honestly, to acquire your next one is once you get a client is to seek the referral from that client once you perform is the best way.
I am 100% with you. I think it's a better lead.
Yeah,
It's a better lead than anything else. Just do your work and then ask for a referral.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
like you mentioned, that's how your business grew 16 years ago. What's the most successful placement you had since you've been doing this?
So uh, our most successful ones, honestly, are gas stations and convenience stores. They're consistent and they perform 365, right? It's basically it's very, very predictable. There will be people that would say that dispensaries are the highest performers, and very much so. There's dispensaries that perform high transactions, but it's not predictable month over month, right? I can predict my gas stations month over month. Whether the transactions go up and down because of certain areas or whatever is debatable, but it's very, the transaction and the flow is very predictable at gas stations. So, yeah, we like those gas station convenience store type of settings more.
Maybe summer times you get the spikes because people are driving more,
Absolutely,
and
yeah. And
during holiday seasons.
you take the dip,
Yeah,
yeah. So absolutely, yeah. But it's predictable, right? You know what's coming.
yeah. The next question that I have is in regards to revenue and passive income, and we all know this, but I think I want you to expand on other ways that you generate income. How do ATM operators typically generate income from their machines? Because in some cases you have to use your network for other items as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So obviously, the surcharge model, you can nowadays you can do credit card segmentation to add additional revenue there. And if you're large enough, you get interchange, obviously, from your either from your ISO, your processor, however you are set up. Those are additional streams, but you can, depending on your background, you can add different additional revenue sources. There's people that are adding toppers, to add, to do ads. There's merchant services that you can add to
There you go.
the location, which we participate in today. I dabbled in actually in a lot of things before just setting on ATM and merchant services, but we even went the check cashing route at one point, in our evolution, right? We tried that method. But check cashing now is not done at a check cashing station. It's more done at a kiosk. It can be performed there. So there's many revenue sources. ATMs we talked about this earlier. ATMs are evolving. ATM is not a cash dispensing only piece now. It's a cash to card model. It's a bill payment kiosk. There's many things that you can add or couple with an ATM. Bitcoin, if there's people that do crypto for sure. So there's many things that you can add on there. We've really stayed in our lane of, just on that
ATMs.
ATM and merchant services, yeah, which couples very
No,
easily.
since you have a portfolio of gas stations, no air machines, no air and back.
No, honestly, we have not dabbled in that, but I know people that have. More power to them. There's definitely money in there, So yeah, but we have not.
There you go. There you go. What are some common misconceptions about ATM profitability? If you're talking to somebody that just wants to get started, that's seen your that's seen you progress, and they would go like, I want to be like Jonas, but they don't remember that you've been doing this for 18 years.
Yeah, yeah. And so it's thinking that they can place a machine in one spot and you know earn thousands of dollars. Is it possible? Yes. Is it likely that it will happen for everybody? No. It's consistent hard work across the board, and by focusing on a niche, on a market, or um, a placement that you find successful, or you can find successful in your area, right? So you're not going to get rich, with putting 5 machines in. Unfortunately, sorry to break the news, but consistently growing that portfolio, and making thousands of dollars for one person versus another is different, right? If somebody
Yes.
can make $2,000, they might be satisfied, versus another person needs to make 100,000, and it's a complete different look. So
So, what advice will you give to someone that just wants to get started? Like, you get the inquiry, one of your buddies that say, "I want to get started in this business. How do I get this?
yeah,
What do I do now?"
buy my course, $10,000. No, I'm just joking.
There you go. Subscribe with the link. Get in the get the information. Send us a check.
So I would, first of all, if anybody's looking to get into the ATM business, I would definitely tell them to make sure make sure that they first have the cash and the wherewithal that they need to start up an ATM business, right? It's not about putting one machine in and just putting cash in it, but where do you see it going? Do you want to, do you have a short term, do you have a medium to short term goal, and a long term goal, right? Where do you want to be with the ATM business? Do you just want to operate 1 to 5, 5 to 10, or 20, 30 machines down the road? And if so, you have to set up a game plan. Where you going to fund, where you going to get the equipment from, funding for the ATM, and processing, right? Um, and even before you do all that, actually, what I would do is, get a mentor. This is something that I didn't do, and that I 100% uh, recommend that any ATM operator does, is get a mentor in your neck of the woods, like somebody that you can trust, or look at, or go look at their operation if you can, right? If they even allow you, go on a ride with them, see, or go on a ride with their tech or whatever, just to see what the day to day of an ATM operator looks like, if that's possible. And that will kind of give you the ins and outs of the business, where you can decide, okay, hey, I can do this, or no, I cannot do this, or I need to re-strategize my game plan, however you want to start the ATM business, right? So I would definitely do that. Preferred that you do it with somebody local, but you don't have to do it with somebody local. So that's where I would start, is getting a mentor, and then kind of working it out from there.
Yeah, it's I don't know how often you get that question. Hey, Jonas, how do you get started? How can I do it? And
Yeah.
they don't realize that it's just like any other business. It's
Yeah.
like any other
Oh,
business that you
100%.
have to do some groundwork.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we change gears and talk about technology and maintenance, what kind of maintenance or support do you provide for a fleet of over multiple states?
Yeah. So, so it's complex, but it's simple in a sense, right? And it's complex because you have systems in place
Good.
that kind of make it like, oh, it's just this, but it's really there's intricacies around that you can work, right? So so honestly, for us, it's been system implementing systems, and I didn't do this when I first started, so it was very big of a challenge to get implemented once you are at a certain size, because then you have to work it into what you have, which it's almost like working backwards. So anybody that's starting new, you want to have systems in place of how you deploy, how you service, your preventive maintenance, and parts replacements, or whoever you need to talk, whoever is going to be helping you with the processing aspect, needs to have that game plan so that
Can
you can work it. Yeah.
can you help us just with one example, like one SOP that you believe is essential for your business?
Yeah, definitely. For us, it's a PM plan, which is a preventive maintenance plan.
Good.
Once you have several, let's just say, once you have 10 plus ATMs, 15 plus ATMs in your fleet, you want to get a preventive maintenance plan implemented, because you want to be visiting those ATMs, doing your software updates, cleaning the card readers, checking the dispenser, especially if you were lucky enough to operate in an environment like us where it's busy. You have busy terminals, doing 3, 4, 500 transactions per month consistently, month over month. You want to get a game plan in place. So definitely, PM plan is essential.
There you go. It's we have a checklist type of deal that we have to give our
Yeah,
cash loaders, and they do that, and it works pretty well.
yeah, 100%.
Are there any technologies or trends that you're excited about seeing in the ATM space?
So to be determined for me, honestly, because still a lot of the technology is new in the ATM industry, or it's evolving, and it's still coming in or in test phase. So the cash to card opportunities are present today. The bill pay kiosks are present today, but there's an exorbitant amount, or the cost of entry is significantly high, in those markets. So um, your new operator would require a ton of investment up front. So it makes me excited, but your average operator is not going to participate in that, if you will. But other technologies that are coming up on the ATMs, NFC, oh my God, is everybody waiting for that one? It's ready, of course, and it's working on some processors at a certain clip or whatever. But those are some that come to my mind, that are on deck, that are coming, that are going to change the ATM environment.
If we talk about growth and scaling them, and I feel that we're bouncing, but what has been your biggest challenge in scaling your ATM business?
So it depends on every operator, but really the um, if you're funding your own ATM operation, is you never have enough cash. You can never have enough cash.
Mm,
That's the biggest challenge. But more so now, or with that, is compliance. But
mm.
banks are
Dig deeper there. Get us deeper
yeah,
there.
banks are getting tough on that, on compliance, just with ATM operation. Anything from picking up your cash at the bank branch, to having it delivered to your office where the cash is coming from, including your sponsor bank. Everybody wants to know, is this a valid ATM? Is it dispensing that much cash? What type of business is it in? All that stuff. It's very intricate, and there's some banks that don't want to work with an ATM business, right? So that's the compliance is the biggest hurdle. Obtaining a bank account and having it at the volume that you wanted to operate at is the challenge now, actually, for most
So
operators.
banking and cash.
Banking and cash is huge, yes. Yes. You got to win. You got to win the banking part first. If
Yes,
you have the
yes,
cash, you
yes.
have the cash. But the banking part is the challenge right now.
And if you are talking to somebody that focus on one state, and then they ask you the question, how can they go to do business in multiple states? How can you do that, Jonas? Tell us.
I mean, it depends on your operation, right? How do you want to, do you want to own and operate that ATM is different than if you wanted to be a merchant owned and operated ATM. So um, if it's a merchant owned and operated ATM, it's about getting a third party out there, service the ATM, install it, and you're live. But if it's an owned and operated ATM, you have to somehow fund that terminal, right? So it's either you have a third party or you have an armored car solution. So most of our opportunities are on armored car solution. So our headaches are higher, but uh, but we that's how we built the model and that's how we've kept it for now. But there's different ways to kind of go about it, but you just have to know which partnership with the location you want to attack. Is it merchant owned or owned and operated by you? So each method is different.
Yeah. Is there any system that you will say that you have in place to grow efficiently, or just where it sticks type of deal?
Yeah, is it like a system you mean to obtain or to like track opportunities or?
Like if yeah, to track opportunities, and if you are, and you, how many states did you mention that you
So
are?
we're in 30 states right now.
In 36. So to jump into that 40 mark,
Hmm.
like, is there a system in place that you expand where the next state is, or
Yeah, no, absolutely. So it's about you tackle that with your growth plan, right? If you're seeing more opportunity towards one state versus another, you grow in that market and kind of expand, with your sales efforts in that market directly, right? So I mean, so that's what that's what I would do to grow in those specific markets. But for us, we have a CRM
there you go.
that helps us with managing our clients, our database, and see where we stand, month over month, and see how we can grow in those markets. And then there's some markets that you want to shy away from also for whatever reason, and that's
How big is your team?
employee wise.
Yes,
So employee wise, we're actually right at 10, I believe.
that's excellent.
Yeah,
That's excellent.
yeah, yeah.
At what point did you say I need to hire somebody?
Oh man, so that was when the admin tasks were getting really out of hand. I was going off of spreadsheets at that time, and like creating routes and which location need priority versus one versus the other kind of deal. But when that got out of hand, and when I started hiring actually somebody to to work on our team or with our team to load and to maintain terminals is when we started adding people in the office as well, to actually build that route, field the calls and give predictable answers to the merchants as well to be, if an ATM is down. And when we started your dashboards today with the processors wasn't the way it is today. So you
It
didn't
was phone lines. It was phone
Yeah, it
lines,
was phone
right?
lines too. Yeah, yeah. So you didn't get alerts or if you did, it was very delayed or something like that. You know what I mean? And there was noise on the phone line. Like I don't, do you
Yeah,
remember that error message?
yeah, yeah.
So
I have three more questions for you, and hopefully we can wrap it here pretty soon.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, and we have talked a little bit about this, but what's one piece of advice that you would give to a new ATM operator? Just started,
Just
just
started.
started. Like, yeah,
So definitely start in a niche market that they know or that they can tackle or that they understand very well, so that they can grow it from there. So if it's a gas station, if it's a liquor store, if it's a convenience store, barbershop, you name it, whatever model location that they want to go into, stick to that market and grow in that market, understand that market, and um, and venture from there. I wouldn't try to mixed bag all over the place. One gas station, a nail salon, because each customer has what's important to them is different, right? A gas station has certain needs versus a nail salon guy.
Yes. This question is more for you and more of your experience. What does success means to you beyond profits, and how do you use your platform to make a difference?
So success is really is impact, right? It's helping a small business or a local business thrive. It's for us, when I first started, it was giving access to cash to consumers in those neighborhoods, right? And building something that was fun for me, at the time, but that I didn't know that I could do. So, and obviously, as you grow and get bigger, and it's all about legacy and building wealth for family, things like that. So,
And how do you use your platform to make a difference? Because I seen you in different platforms, and you're making a difference, not just for us, but for a lot of people. So
oh yeah, thank you. So, I mean, I help where I can. Participate. I'm on the NAC board. We work with operators all the time. Work with the organization to push legislation to help the ATM industry. I help some ATM operators in our market today, whether they process with us or not. I love to just give them insight and background on what has worked for us or worked for me, and what didn't work, pitfalls, right? But more so, I'm involved in church back home here, where it's important.
it's excellent. Where can listeners learn more about your business or connect with you, Jonas?
Oh man, I'm easy to find, boss. So I'm on LinkedIn, Yonas Markos. You can find me there. Our website address is gowithstar.com. Very easy.
Good. I appreciate your time. I thank you for all this, and I think our listeners will appreciate all your information.
Hey, thank you for having me, Franco. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.